Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? This is my Africa show. Before we go on to this week's topic that we have for you guys, I would love to ask, how was your week? Because you know your well-being is our well-being. And I hope you guys had such a productive, lovely, full of gratitude, full of happiness, new promotions, growth, and all that positive news in the past week. And we'll be talking about such a hot topic that has been going on in Africa. So I just want to tell you guys, stay tuned with us. We will dive into today's topic. We'll be back after a break. As time is clicking, a lot of things happen in our beautiful continent, Africa. And today on My Africa Show, we'll be talking about a 31-year-old teacher, outspoken blogger based in Kenya, that was arrested and killed by a police, Albert Ojwang. And today, the reason why we'll be talking about this man is it's not something that happened for first time in history. This thing has been happening, reoccurring over and over and over again, not only in Kenya, but all across continent. So what is happening? And we'll try to see the story behind the situation. Albert Ojwang was a name quietly rising in Kenya's digital and civic landscape. Born and raised in Homa Bay Country in western Kenya, Albert grew up grounded in the values of education, truth, and community service. From a very young age, he stood out, not for being the loudest in the room, but for asking the questions others hesitated to voice. After completing his studies, Albert became a teacher by profession, dedicating his time to shaping young minds. But outside the classroom, he took on another role, one that would define his public identity. Online, he was known as Pixel Pioneer, a digital activist and independent commentator, using the power of social media to highlight injustice, inequality, and government accountability. Albert was part of a growing generation of young Kenyans who believed that change starts with bold conversations. His platform wasn't just a place for criticism, it was a space for civic engagement, fact-sharing, and calls for reform. His followers, more than 13,000 strong, valued his clarity, his courage, his relentless questioning of how power was used in Kenya.
Motorbikes also joined in and attacked the demonstrators with whips and clubs.
Though soft-spoken in person, Albert was bold in principle. He spoke often about the role of youth in governance, transparency in public institutions, and the urgent need for reforms in policing and civil service. His writing, whether in short tweets or long threads, reflected deep thoughts, evidence-based reasoning, and a passion for truth. More than anything, Albert Ojwang was a believer in justice, in youth-led transformation, and in the idea that Kenya could do better. He belonged to a generation determined not to be silenced, and he used the tool of digital age not to divide, but to awaken. This man that was loved, okay? Think about it. That was loved and cherished by many. He was arrested on June 6th, died 2 days later, and the whole situation leading one thing to another, escalating what is happening now in Kenya. But the real question is, why was he even arrested in the first place? He was actively engaged in social media as he is a blogger, and he posted a post on X, formerly named Twitter, saying that a person, which is Deputy Inspector General Eliud Lagar, accusing him and defaming him for his actions, saying that he has appointed loyal people in key units like traffics and traffic sites and, like key places so that he can control revenue, okay? Not only that, but intellectual flaws. He accused Deputy Inspector General Eliud Lagar that he is actively engaged in corruption and soon purchased a property in Dubai that cost us around $2.6 million. And in that post, he also captioned saying, Eliud Lagar, Mafia Police. Okay, guys, now I just try to see this situation from a third person, okay? There is this person, a guy, a blogger, well-known, actively engaged in his social media, and a police person that is trying to keep the law above anyone, including the government. So the government that I chose to protect me, the police that is appointed to make me feel secured, to make me feel safe in my own homeland, is there to make me feel down, is there to make me feel insecure on my own homeland. So I cannot say what Albert did is 100% right, but there might be a truth to what he was sharing to his followers. Can you imagine? He has over 13,400 followers on the social media platform that he shared, which is X. What they did was he was arrested for accusing and for defaming the inspector, and 2 days later, which is on June 8th, he was dead. How? They said that it was self-inflicted injury. Suspicious, right? And the most interesting part about this whole situation was that we know, everybody knows that a person that was arrested on June 6th, that is self-aware, that is knowing what he's doing, he consciously posted a post. He knows that there will be a consequence. So why would he inflict himself and die? And the whole situation escalated even more when the post-mortem came totally different. It showed that Albert did not kill himself, had some head trauma and was abused. And because of that, 6 officers have been, been examined on trying to know who is responsible for this action. And 1 has been arrested, but when all this thing is happening, Eliud Lagar, he is standing aside. So what is it for us to see in this situation? Again, even though he was accusing an officer for what he's doing, only him and the officer and God only knows, there is a law, a governance that is trying to rule a country, right? So there is some stated system that everybody is going to go through, even the president, even those people that are appointed by the people for the people. So why couldn't the legal system go through this case legally? And if he's right, okay, if Albert is telling the truth, then this officer should be arrested because he is corrupting the system. Imagine $2.6 million property in Dubai. That's a huge number that we're talking about, especially when you see the current situation that Kenyans are going through. So if it's not true, and if it was true that Albert is actually accusing him for nothing that he hasn't done, Albert shall be asked according to the law, which is stated clearly on the Constitution. So what was the whole point of killing him? It was a sign of power. It was a sign of being superior. It was a sign of saying, you know what, no matter what you do, it's my voice, it's my decision, and at the end of the day, it's my option. Oh, you feel me? So that's why Kenyans are going out there saying, stop killing us. We need justice for Albert, because we never know who's next. I, as a human being, I have every right to speak what I have in mind. And I know as an Ethiopian, as an African, when I say this, you might say, okay, look at what's happening in Nigeria, look at what's happening in different places in Africa. Why are you specifically talking about Kenyans? But of course, it is because it's a very current and hot topic. And it doesn't mean that doesn't mean that we're trying to put it in a balance saying, oh, this one is much, greater and more sensitive. Of course, every life matters, whether we're an African or not. But when you see some silly things or some simple things that could be handled in a very easy way, escalating and growing and creating such kind of outrage, conflicts, you ask yourself, why is humanity doing this? Speaking of governance, you might be asking, so what is the government saying? What is the government doing when all this thing is happening?
In the wake of nationwide outrage, the Kenyan government entered a critical moment. President William Ruto issued a statement calling Albert Ojwang's death heartbreaking and unacceptable, promising that justice would not be delayed nor denied. Soon after, Nairobi Central Police Station officers were suspended or arrested, and a formal investigation was launched under the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, the country's oversight body for law enforcement. Deputy Inspector General Ilud Lagat, whose defamation complaint set the event in motion, stepped aside to prevent the investigation's credibility. His decision was a powerful signal, but so was the scene unfolding on the streets. Protesters broke out in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, and Eldoret. Slogans like "Stop Killing Us" echoed through city streets. During one such protest on June 17, 22-year-old street vendor Boniface Kariuki was shot at a close range, sustaining a critical head injury. He remains hospitalized. His survival now a battle fought in hospital beds, not protest lines. That same day, at least 16 people were hospitalized, with injuries ranging from tear gas inhalation to gunshot wounds. Tension boiled over further days earlier when one protest was killed during clashes and dozens more were wounded.
How much is enough? How much? No! We can't take this too easy. No!
The cumulative toll is mounting, not just in outrage, but in real human cost. Demonstrators and bystanders have been wounded. At least one life has already been lost, and many more lie injured. Pressures from civil societies, the judiciary, and international actors is building. Groups like Amnesty International and the UK Embassy insists on swift, independent, and most importantly, transparency investigation. Within Kenya, the Law Society has demanded accountability and prosecutorial follow-through. So, what is happening right now? Investigations are ongoing. IPOA continues to probing with officers suspended or detained. Protesters are continuing, fueled by pain, fear, and a demand for systematic reform. Casualties are growing. At least one protest-related death and many hospitalized, including Boniface, now fighting for survival. The nation is at a crossroads. Will Kenya uphold the rule of law this time? Will investigations lead to prosecution, reform, and restored trust? Or will another generation grow, hardened by another cycle of impunity? Only the coming days will tell.
Lagat should be in prison, rotting like any other criminal.
Of course, every single person that is following this news have their own input in this current situation. Some say that, okay, the government is getting out of control. Some say, okay, there must be a government inside the government. That's why the officer is standing aside, not being accused, not being questioned for this action, which he should be the first suspect in this current scenario, but nobody's asking. So what does it mean? What is the government doing? And some say, oh no, Albert was just a true man and we just don't care. We just want justice. And some are feeling insecure. Some are confused on what they should be doing. Currently, there is unrest. There is civilian protestants going out and asking for the government to do something about this, to give them justice and saying, stop killing us. And some are just trying to be safe by keeping quiet. But the real question is why? Until when? Right? Till when are we going to keep quiet and choose our comfort zone over the actual reality that is happening? There are a lot of things happening in this world, guys. Can you imagine? The world is running. The race, the pace that is happening right now on the 21st century is crazy. And here we are, not being able to be defending ourselves, not being able to stand for what we believe, stand for our truth, being killed just because we have an idea that stands against some group of people. And there are a lot of change happening. This shouldn't be our concern. This shouldn't be on our plate. We have a lot of things to do. We are backwarded in a lot of things. Here we are battling over something that we should have been able to focus and solve years ago. So I say, and I suggest that there are a lot of things happening that needs our focus, okay? A lot of people cannot eat 3 times a day. Agriculture, our practice, it's still backward even though we're living in the 21st century. healthcare, education. They are a lot of things that the government, the people should focus on. And therefore, the ones that are in power, that are appointed by the people, should be able to work for the people, because they are appointed, they are given that responsibility so that they can be accountable and serve their country, their nation. And I say that we need justice, not only for Albert, but also for all those things that we're losing in this process. And we need our voice to be heard. It doesn't matter whether I'm an Ethiopian, a Congolese, a Kenyan, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we're humans, and what matters is that we should be able to align with the pace that the world is going through. And I truly wish there will be a justice for Albert. And wow, okay, now I feel tense, guys. I want to end this episode with a good vibe or a good energy towards you guys, so that I want you to enjoy your weekend. One thing that I want to mention is Rwanda Air has been appointed as a best regional airline. Applause for our Rwandese people. And also different people, even in Ethiopia, 3 youngsters have created a platform where you can participate like when you're going live stream, you can participate those people that are watching you in games, stuff. Hopefully we'll have them on our show. So I just want to keep you guys, even though there are some unrest and protest and death that we are hearing, there are also a lot of bright sides, and let's try to balance the two. Thank you so much everyone for watching and for staying with us on this week My Africa show. And for those of you guys that have opinions on this topic that we have discussed this week on My Africa show, let us know on our short SMS 6121. And for those of you guys that are watching us on a social media platform, I would love to say, you can be anywhere. If you have any kind of input, any kind of ideas, perspectives that you guys want to put out there, feel free to let us know below this video. It was me, Agabelai, that stayed with you guys. I'll see you next week with another topic. Thank you so much for staying with us. Goodbye. Have a beautiful and blessed Saturday.